Angel Reese is now quoted as saying, "I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person." She refuses to say Caitlin Clark's name. "It's because of me too, and I want you to realize that."
Angel Reese claimed she chose Chicago because of Coach Weatherspoon. But did you know rookies don't actually choose their teams? They're drafted. That's just one of the many lies in this unfolding story of the Sky's turbulent season that is crashing and burning. Get ready for some eye-opening revelations about what's really happening behind the scenes. In this video, we'll share the numerous lies of Angel Reese, starting with the ones that just got exposed after Teresa Weatherspoon's firing.
Angel Reese is not happy about it either. She dropped a long tweet that said, quote, "You had a tough job, all the crazy circumstances that we went through this year, and when your back was against the wall, you always believed. I came to Chicago because of you. You were an unsung hero in my life. We built a relationship in a short amount of time that will last forever. You didn't deserve this, but I can't thank you enough. I love you, Teaspoon."
We'll also break down the many reasons behind the move of firing the coach after one season. The Chicago Sky's 2024 campaign has been a whirlwind of controversy. From Reese's questionable statements to Weatherspoon's sudden firing, the team's been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. And let's not forget their disappointing 13-win, 27-loss record, 5 games worse than their 2023 season. What's really going on with this team? As we dig deeper, we'll uncover a web of deception that's been tearing the Sky apart from the inside. From secret calls coming from other teams, to stat-padding accusations, to aggressive plays against star players like Caitlin Clark, this story has it all. How did things get so bad? And can the Sky bounce back from this freefall? Before we break it down, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Are you ready? Let's go.
Oh, okay.
Two truths and a lie. Two truths
Okay.
and a lie. Ooh,
Okay.
What we talking about? Let's see.
Remember that basketball play Reese claimed she made on Caitlin Clark? The video tells a different story, but that's just the tip of the iceberg in a series of statements that don't add up. How many more are hiding beneath the surface? As we peel back the layers of Angel Reese's statements, a pattern emerges that's hard to ignore. Let's start with the most recent one. In a tribute to Coach Teresa Weatherspoon, Reese boldly claimed she chose to play in Chicago because of the coach. That's not how it works. Once a player declares for the draft, she has no control or influence where she is drafted. A team picks her, and she ends up playing for that team, unless she is traded.
2 days and 2 illogical firings in the WNBA. First Kurt Miller with the LA Sparks, and then Chicago Sky fired coach Teresa Weatherspoon less than a year after her hire. This is a shot in the heart of this organization.
Next is when she went on her podcast making bold claims about the draft process. Reese confidently stated that teams who didn't draft her called, saying they wanted her.
Players on other teams say I wish we drafted you.
Really?
Yes. Like teams that have drafted that were above me, that the players that got drafted above, and it was nothing against their rookies that got drafted, but they were like, I wish we were teammates. I wish we drafted you.
But here's the thing. If these teams truly wanted her, why didn't they just draft her? She was the 7th overall pick after all. And that's not all. Even her own team, the Chicago Sky, didn't draft her at the 3rd pick. They instead selected South Carolina standout Camila Cardoso, who most definitely is a strong foundation for the Chicago Sky's future. Reese's bold claim just simply doesn't add up. But the inconsistencies don't stop there. Remember her flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark during the June 16th game? Let's roll back the footage. Guess what? During the post-game interview, Reese tried to play it off as just making a play on the ball. She even hinted that certain players get special treatment, clearly alluding to Clark. But when you look at the video evidence, it's clear as day. That was excessive contact, no question about it.
I think we went up really strong a lot of times and we didn't get a lot of calls. And going back and looking at the film, I've seen a lot of calls that weren't made. I guess some people got a special whistle.
What's even more puzzling is Reese's claim that she has no beef with Caitlin Clark. If that's true, then why was she caught on camera clapping and jumping for joy when her teammate Kennedy Carter shoved Clark in a non-basketball play during the June 1st game?
Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench.
Actions speak louder than words, and Reese's actions are shouting contradictions. The flagrant foul incidents against Caitlin Clark wasn't just a one-off moment. It was part of a concerning trend. Did you know that 17% of all flagrant fouls in the league were committed against Clark? That's not even counting those that were missed by the refs. And here's the thing, 80% of those came from the Chicago Sky. That's not just aggressive play, that's a pattern that demands attention. How can a locker room tolerate this? How can a coach tolerate this? We'll break it down in a bit. If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. We know watching this video takes some of your time, and we appreciate you. Now back to the action.
Sorry, young lady. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody would be watching the WNBA additionally for you. This is all about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is bringing the money to the game, the planes to the game, the TV viewership. The WNBA is on fire because of Caitlin Clark.
Let's talk about those stats. Double-doubles and rebounding records are great, if done the right way. But they're not telling the whole story when it comes to Angel Reese. Whispers of stat padding have been circulating, casting a shadow over Reese's achievements. It's one thing to put up numbers, but it's another when those numbers might be coming at the expense of team success. This web of contradictions hasn't just affected Reese's reputation. It's had a ripple effect throughout the entire Sky organization. The locker room tension is palpable. When players can't trust each other's words or intentions, how can they function as a cohesive unit on the court? Fellow freshman standout Camila Cardoso even called one of their losses embarrassing.
Honestly, don't have an answer for you, but this was embarrassing. So I really hope we figure out what was wrong and go back to the court tomorrow, practice, or do whatever we gotta do and fix it for our next road game.
And let's not forget the bigger picture here. While individual stats might look good on paper, they mean little when the team is struggling to win games. It raises questions about priorities and what's really being valued in the locker room. All of this paints a picture of a team in turmoil, where personal agendas might be overshadowing team goals. The Sky's freefall isn't just about losses on the court, it's about a breakdown in trust, communication, and shared purpose. As the Sky spiraled downward, all eyes turned to Coach Weatherspoon for answers. But instead of solutions, her tenure raised more questions. How did a coach become part of the problem? The story of her downfall sheds light on the complexities of building a winning team culture.
So much about coaching is managing personalities, and the toughest personalities I think to manage would be those that run hot.
Teresa Weatherspoon's journey with the Chicago Sky was short-lived and tumultuous. Hired with high hopes and a celebrated basketball pedigree, Weatherspoon's tenure as head coach lasted just one disappointing season. The team's losing record spoke volumes about the struggles they faced on the court. But the numbers only tell part of the story. Behind the scenes, a different drama was unfolding. Exit interviews revealed a startling disconnect between Weatherspoon, her players, and team officials. Communication breakdowns and constantly shifting playstyles left the team feeling unmoored and directionless. It's a stark contrast to the public image of a coach with strong player support. Angel Reese's emotional response to Weatherspoon's firing highlighted this disconnect. Reese claimed, "I came to Chicago because of you, and she was the only person that believed in me." But these statements clash with the reality of the draft process and the team's overall performance.
The Chicago Sky fired their head coach, Teresa Weatherspoon, a move that had my entire timeline saying, what the hell?
So what went wrong? Weatherspoon's limited coaching experience became glaringly apparent as the season progressed. With only 6 years of head coaching experience at Louisiana Tech, she struggled to adapt to the demands of the W. The transition from college to pro proved more challenging than anticipated. Adding to the complexity, the Sky's roster construction left much to be desired. Key players like Kalia Copper and Marina Mabry were traded away, leaving Weatherspoon with a depleted lineup. It's a recipe for disaster that even the most seasoned coach would struggle to overcome. But perhaps the most concerning aspect of Weatherspoon's tenure was the prioritization of individual stats over team success. The emphasis on Angel Reese's double-doubles and rebounding records came at a cost. While personal achievements piled up, wins remained elusive. This focus on individual glory created a fractured locker room atmosphere where team goals took a backseat.
And you can't say they're not stat padding, because the game against the Fever, all the starters were out and Angel Reese was still in, and so she could get her double-double, right?
Even more alarming was the team's aggressive play, particularly against star players like Caitlin Clark. The high number of flagrant fouls committed by the Sky raised eyebrows across the league. And never did Weatherspoon make a statement or condemn this startling trend. Silence speaks volumes, and Weatherspoon's apparent tolerance for this behavior only fueled the fire of controversy surrounding the team. The firing of Weatherspoon marks a revolving door of coaching changes for the Sky. It's a clear sign of ongoing instability within the franchise. Each new coach brings their own style and expectations, leaving players in a constant state of adjustment. This lack of consistency has taken its toll on team chemistry and performance.
A Chicago Sky franchise that's been an absolute dumpster fire since winning the WNBA championship in 2021. Let's go through some of the names that have left. James Wade, who was the coach and GM, left in the middle of the season last year to go to the NBA. Candace Parker, Emma Messman, Courtney Vandersloot, Allie Quigley, Clea Copper was traded, Azura Stevens. And then this year, after drafting Cardozo and Reese, they were competing for a playoff spot and traded Marina Mabrey, their veteran, before the Olympic break.
Weatherspoon's downfall serves as a cautionary tale for WNBA franchises. A big name and playing experience don't automatically translate to coaching success. The ability to communicate effectively, adapt to the pro game, and foster a winning team culture are equally crucial. As the dust settled on Weatherspoon's firing, a more alarming pattern emerged on the court. How did the Chicago Sky's aggressive tactics against Caitlin Clark spark a league-wide controversy and force everyone to confront an uncomfortable truth about player safety? This isn't just aggressive play. It's a trend that demands serious attention. Let's rewind to that infamous August 30th game between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky. Midway through the first half, the intensity picked up during the game. Michaela Onyenware made a dangerous play that prevented Clark from landing safely after a shot.
Take a look here. Does she give her landing space?
It doesn't look like she does to me, and the actual call of that is a reckless closeout.
The collision left Clark flat on the court, and the refs slapped Onyenware with a flagrant 1. The crowd held its breath as Clark stood back up. Would this break Clark? Instead, she sank both free throws. That game saw not just 1, but 2 flagrant fouls against Clark. In a moment that went viral and dissected for weeks to come, Clark was hit again. Clark, going for a fast break, raced up the court when, bam, Diamond DeShields knocked her down. Flagrant 1, again.
Trust Arena, the Fever have really stretched out this one.
These incidents aren't just about 2 players or 2 teams. They've sparked a broader conversation about player safety and sportsmanship in the WNBA. When one team is responsible for such a disproportionate number of flagrant fouls against a single player, it raises serious questions. Is this a deliberate strategy? And if so, what does it say about the team's culture and priorities? The league's image is at stake here. Basketball is a physical sport, but there's a line between competitive play and dangerous tactics. When that line gets blurred, it's not just the players who suffer. It's the integrity of the game itself. What's truly remarkable is how Caitlin Clark has responded to all of this. Despite facing unprecedented physical challenges on the court, she's remained resilient. Her words after the Sky game speak volumes. It's just part of basketball. This attitude, coupled with her record-breaking performances, showcases her mental toughness and dedication to the sport.
What's going through my mind is I need to make these 2 free throws. That's all I'm thinking about. It's just part of basketball. It is what it is. Just trying to make a play on the ball and get the block. But yeah, it happens. And
Clark's historic season is a testament to her skill and determination. Remember that game against the Sky where she faced 2 flagrant fouls? She responded by dropping a career-high 31 points at that time. It's this kind of grit that's making her a fan favorite and a true ambassador for the sport. Let's be clear. While we admire Caitlin Clark's resilience, we strongly condemn any form of untoward physicality, intentional or otherwise, against any player in the league. As new viewers watch the W, so do young men and women that look up to some of these players, and we cannot tolerate them seeing bad examples of such untoward behavior. But Clark's success doesn't negate the need for change. If anything, it highlights how crucial it is to protect players and maintain a fair playing field. The WNBA needs to take a hard look at these statistics and consider stricter penalties for teams that consistently cross the line. The Clark controversy has become a turning point for the league. It's forcing everyone, players, coaches, officials, and fans, to confront some uncomfortable truths about the state of the game. How do we balance physicality with player safety? Where do we draw the line between competitive spirit and unsportsmanlike conduct? The Chicago Sky's aggressive tactics backfired spectacularly. Now, as they search for a new coach and direction, will they learn from their mistakes or double down on a strategy that's tearing the team apart? The Sky's management faces a daunting task. They're not just looking for a new coach, they're searching for someone who can completely overhaul the team's culture. It's a tall order, especially given the franchise's recent history of instability. The new coach will need to balance player development with team success, all while navigating the aftermath of a tumultuous season.
The relationship that she built with Angel Reese and with Camila Cardoso, to have your two young stars vocally bought into you as the coach and then to move on from you without even giving you more than one single season to try to get it right, it just doesn't sit well with me.
But here's the real challenge. How do you rebuild trust when the foundation is so shaky? The Sky's locker room has been fractured by conflicting priorities and questionable tactics. Players like Angel Reese, who claimed such a strong connection to Weatherspoon, now face an uncertain future with the team. Will they buy into a new system, or will the cycle of dysfunction continue? Speaking of Reese, her situation perfectly illustrates the Sky's predicament. Her controversial statements and on-court behavior have raised eyebrows across the league. The new coach will need to decide, is Reese a cornerstone to build around, or a distraction that needs to be addressed? Then there's Camila Cardoso, a bright spot in an otherwise dim season. Her potential is undeniable, but will she want to stick around if the team can't get its act together? The Sky can't afford to lose young talent like Cardoso if they hope to turn things around. Let's not forget about the elephant in the room: player safety. The Sky's aggressive style, particularly against star players like Caitlin Clark, has put them in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. Any new coach worth their salt will need to address this issue head-on. It's not just about avoiding penalties, it's about restoring the team's reputation and integrity.
And I think you're basically lying if you're saying what Caitlin Clark did and Angel Reese did are the same thing. They're not.
But it won't be easy. The new coach will need to be part strategist, part therapist, and part visionary. They'll need to heal old wounds, establish clear expectations, and create a culture where players support each other instead of tearing each other down. It's a monumental task, but one that could redefine the franchise for years to come. The Sky's rebuilding process isn't just about winning games. It's about restoring faith. Faith in the team, faith in the coaching staff, and faith in the very integrity of the sport. Every decision they make from this point forward will be scrutinized. Will they prioritize short-term gains or long-term stability? Will they chase stats or championships? Will they foster a culture of respect or continue down the path of controversy? As the Sky navigate these choppy waters, the entire WNBA will be watching. Their journey could serve as a cautionary tale or an inspiring comeback story. It all depends on the choices they make in the coming months. The Chicago Sky's tumultuous season has laid bare the need for change in women's basketball. From Angel Reese's questionable statements to the team's aggressive tactics, we've seen how quickly things can spiral out of control. But this dark chapter could be the catalyst for a brighter future. The WNBA stands at a crossroads. Will teams prioritize integrity and sportsmanship or continue down a path of controversy? Players like Caitlin Clark show us what's possible when talent meets character. Her resilience in the face of flagrant fouls is a testament to the spirit of the game. As the Sky rebuilds, they have a chance to set a new standard. It's not just about winning games, it's about fostering a culture of respect and fair play. The future of women's basketball depends on it. Will the league rise to the challenge? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.